The American landscape is undergoing a transformation. Areas across the country are making way for an industry unlike any other, aimed at revitalizing a struggling economy and providing cheap, clean energy for the masses. This industry is known as hydraulic fracturing. The goal of this massive undertaking is to collect natural gas, known as methane. Natural gas is primarily methane, but also contains hydrogen sulfide, carbon dioxide, and nitrogen gas. This abundant source of energy will provide alternative, cleaner burning fuels, and this cheaper energy will be passed on to the consumer at the local community level. But will the profits from hydraulic fracturing outweigh the cost to community public health? Hydraulic fracturing involves heavy-duty drilling equipment, which aims to reach target shale formations rich in oil and natural gas. On average, these rigs reach around 7,500 feet deep vertically and from 1,000 to 10,000 feet horizontally. During the drilling process, steel pipes surrounded by a layer of concrete serves to protect water sources from contamination and extends the entire length of the well. After the well is drilled, the casing is perforated, typically with explosive charges. The process requires anywhere between 60,000 to 1 million gallons of water, combined with over 350 chemicals and 1,000 to 5 million pounds of sand, which is forced into the ground at high pressure using diesel pumps. The pressure creates cracks in the shale formation and allows for the collection of oil and natural gas. Concern has been expressed by communities about the potential negative health implications, particularly the contamination of groundwater and air from chemicals and fracking fluid.
No fracking in Boulder!
And Peter Sandman says the things that scare us are not necessarily the things that harm us. And we get scared just by the presence of a chemical, and we can detect things at parts per trillion levels with no problem. So, if there is no exposure to the chemical, there is no risk. In my opinion, that none of those chemicals that are found in fracking fluids that get into the groundwater are going to be of high enough concentration to affect any individual that is going to be exposed to these chemicals, if they're going to be exposed at all. The bottom line is, there are many, many more things that we should be concerned about than some of these contaminants. I can assure you that if you took the runoff from every parking lot and every road covering this entire United States of America and let that wash off into surface water and eventually down into groundwater, you're going to end up with things a heck of a lot more toxic than these chemicals.
Personally, I think that more health impact assessments like Dr. Roxana Witter's study would be very helpful. It would also tame the media, who tend to incite fear based on reporting chemical presence rather than their true health implications.
At this point, even though water contamination may not appear to be an issue, recent research has demonstrated air pollution from fracking fluid flowback may pose a risk to public health.
In our air studies, we did these out in Garfield County for a proposed natural gas project. So we were looking at air data and making some projections or some risk estimates about what we thought might happen in the future. And so by looking at those air emissions, we found that there could possibly be a risk of potential adverse health effects, particularly for people living nearer to the wells, and for more acute to subchronic health effects, that is short-term health effects, things with respiratory problems and some neurological problems. We also found a slight increased risk in the cancer risk for people living around those sites. And these risks were primarily driven by things known as hydrocarbons. This particular issue has been portrayed in the media and the public as an either-or kind of question, which I think is a false way of presenting it. It's been presented as we either must ban fracking or we must just have no regulation on this or very little regulations. And I think the true answer lies somewhere in the middle, that we can have hydraulic fracturing and natural gas development, but we also need to make sure that we have the right controls on it, that the public health is not adversely impacted. More studies need to be done around the whole process.
Opinions about hydraulic fracturing are solidifying, and battle lines are being drawn. For many, hydraulic fracturing connotes something dangerous, unhealthy, and for others it is regarded as the best hope for a struggling economy. Yes, this industry has contributed to a resurgence of oil production and natural gas exploration in the U.S. However, we should proceed with caution. While more research is needed, we must not ignore the potential cost to our health and the health of our environment.